up your radio and feel it. Cause we jam in Bermuda.
It's now time for Inside Sports Talk Radio with host Ian Rollins and all based brought to you by Bermuda, the Arkansas Railroad School Company, Colonial Hope International, Global Atlantic Financial, and Mineral Life. Day 4. Let's now go live with Ian Rollins and all based.
And good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday. It is September 16th. Co-host Earl Basin has joined us in the studio. He thought he was staying on for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then he's going again. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rollins. How you doing?
I'm good. All is well?
All is wonderful.
How was your 48 hours of the weekend?
Weekends are weekends, man. It's just,
You keep pacing yourself?
of course. Yeah. Everything's done in time now.
In time now?
Yeah.
You ain't trying to beat it, right? Just pace yourself.
Yeah.
Good man.
It's a distance race. It's a distance race.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
How about you?
I'm trying to beat it. I'm trying to beat it every day.
Weren't you told not to be a sprinter in school?
Well,
You still are not listening, are you?
I'm still trying to think I am a sprinter.
Well,
Yeah, that's the problem.
But you got to remember, you're now a few years older than that too. See, so the recovery time isn't what it used to be.
No, it's not. It's not like 5 minutes and you're recovered.
No.
It's a couple of days.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a couple of days.
So
Yeah.
take care of advice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take it from you because I'm listening to myself, but I say it afterwards. But nevertheless, it's over. Good afternoon to you, Don Bassett.
Good day, sir. How's day?
I'm good.
Good.
All is good, man.
Yes.
All's good with you?
Yes, it is, sir.
Good weekend?
Good weekend, productive.
Good man. That's what we like to hear.
Yes.
Well, joining us in the studio right now is none other than Mr. Kyle Lightpoint. You know that gentleman?
I know him quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit to him and his coaching staff.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job.
Yeah.
And
excellent job, actually.
as one always says, work started before, and it's just a continuation of
The
what
success.
it's to. Yeah. So,
Credit to him because you and I were talking last week on the radio show that those behind the scenes were chastising him, not in a nice way. His coaching staff.
he probably heard it. He probably heard it that Thursday night behind him. Yeah.
Who has the last laugh now?
Well, you know what? I honestly believe overall Bermuda has the laugh.
Cool.
Because we have anywhere you go, you're always going to have people that want to criticize whatever's going on, whether it be good or bad, hoping that things go wrong so people can really listen to their voice. But in the end, I think, coming out on this other side, Bermuda actually benefit from it because a lot of those people's opinions become less and less.
Less and less.
Only because what Kyle and your coaching staff have been able to get messages across to the players, and they've got buy-in, and they're willing to do what needs to happen to progress. So credit to everybody involved, and those players who have finally brought into a local coach's expectations.
That's right. That's right. Well, good afternoon to you, Mr. Lightpoint.
Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Bermuda.
How are you feeling right about now, right?
Yeah, I'm a tad bit disappointed and a little bit pleased, to be honest.
Explain the difference there.
Because I wanted my 4 points and you only got 3. So that's where it is.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good answer.
When you think of it before, I think you say you could beat them at home and get a point on the road would have been excellent, but we lost at home and won on the road. So our backs were up against the wall.
That's right.
And we came back fighting. These things happen in sports. It's interesting you guys talk about social media or the fans. That's part of the game. You have to be able to suck that up and move on. And if you pay attention to that, then you're losing the battle.
Right.
After the game on Thursday night, I mentioned to you that you looked really disappointed, but you only had X amount of time to shake that off, get on the plane, convince the guys that what we're doing is the right thing, and then get the performance you were looking for or the result you were looking for. How well did you manage that whole scenario to make sure that you were in the right frame of mind to get the guys to do what you wanted them to do come match in Panama?
Yeah, time heals everything. And you look at where we are. You know, you take, for myself, I had to take a step back, and the coaching staff would take a step back, and we look and we say, what can we do better? The things that that we can affect, sort of, and we could affect the players,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's what we had to focus on. We knew it was going to be tough, but sports is like that, man. Your back's up against the wall, you either adapt or die, and I think I probably said that along the way when we had to adapt to the situation. Like you said, I was a little bit disappointed. I was disappointed because of the way we conceded goals, the way we
Right.
lackadaisically we gifted them 3 goals basically. And, when we look back on the tape and we watch the game, over and over, and we look at the mistakes, it's schoolboy errors. We should have a penalty, we don't. We lose our shape, we lose our discipline. They go right up the field and score. We were a lot of the things that we worked on over the Gold Cup sort of came out in the game, and it didn't to a degree. So we didn't protect our middle as well as we can, meaning in front of the defense. So that caused us problems within itself. And then the game was conceded at the worst times throughout the whole match.
We just scored and then let them go right down there. And,
So it's always, and then second half we're really pushing them back, and then we concede again. So like from our own mistakes, and these things happen in the game, and it just shows you. It shows me how far we have come. That we're losing to Panama, and people are complaining that we're losing to Panama.
Right.
So when you put that into context, they're a World Cup team. They are, and I've always said all along, when we play against these teams, we have to be at our best in every part of the game.
In order to stand a chance.
We weren't good in front of goal. We created enough chances to score a few goals, but those things happen.
It's interesting, and this dates back, Carl, when us three were young men coming along. Bermuda in our sports, and talking across the board team sports, for cricketing and football, that we have always had a slow start, and then it's like in this position, like a 2-leg series, we become better in the second leg. Are you going to do? Obviously, the tactics did change when we went down to Panama, and you put things in place and the shape and things of that sort. What are we going to do for preparation for October 11th? So we don't get into this dilemma. And this is a trend that dates back when you and I said, we were kids. We always went through something like this.
Yeah, well, when you look at international football, you're only allowed so much time with the players. I mean, we have the players here on the island. We work with the players that are here on the island, like we have them once a week. Right now, because they're in season, so they're playing for the clubs there. So they're probably getting 4 good sessions a week now. Most clubs train 3 times a week now, from before it was twice. So, and we have them for a short period on a Wednesday. So we're just trying to basically keep that focus that we have, and the things that we do that may be different from their club, and that happens in football. But international football, you don't have a lot of time with the players. We had a lot of time with them leading up to the Gold Cup. And so we were able to go over so many things and be, hit the ground sort of running. And we, like you said, we learn fast. We have to adapt. Us as coaches, the coaching staff, we have to adapt right away. Don't wait for it. And the other day, people were asking me why I didn't make the subs a little earlier. But it's a 2-legged game, and I didn't want them to see Justin Donovan. It's because he has frightening pace. They see that for 10, 15 minutes in the game, and when he starts in the next game, they know that right away. So these are little things that go on in my mind and in coaching staff's mind,
especially the way the game was good.
We were losing as it is, and it's like, those little things, when you sit down and analyze every little thing, people may understand a little bit more. Like, but that's the way the game is.
And it's funny how you mentioned that. That's really tactics come in. That's really
Mhm.
people behind the scenes coming up to him and saying, "How can we make these changes?"
Right.
But he knows full well why they make these changes. And if he explained it to those people,
Yeah.
they still think that is wrong.
Mhm.
But obviously, it paid off in the second leg. That's interesting.
One thing I notice a lot is when um, I call them 90-minute coaches.
I like that. I like that. I like that. 90
Ask everyone else their opinion and then give their opinion on how things went. Um, but I always ask them, so did you attend the training session to see what the coaching staff was attempting to do?
Can I answer for you?
Oh, you know that.
No.
Because a lot of people don't see what the initial instructions are. They don't know what the game plan is, and they just see it not working out at times.
Yep.
And on a Saturday, watching any football game, you have people hollering at the TV because it's not working out for the team, but you don't understand what the tactic is. You're second guessing the coach who's worked with the players all week.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? Who's put these things in place. And in a team sport, if one link of the chain is not pulling its weight,
Yeah.
it all falls. It could all fall apart.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
You're right.
so it's one of those things where I think it's building that self-confidence and that self-belief in the players that they can do the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I know you guys spent a lot of time talking with players, sitting down with players, understanding what the role is. Because I often hear you, even when we were away, you just talk, know your job, just do your job. Don't worry about somebody else. You do your job, let me take care of the other person not doing the job. Which is, it's got to be buy-in for that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's for us. We are on a real tight line for us as Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
We've been good, but we can't afford to be slightly off.
Right.
Get punished for it.
Right.
Maybe whereas other teams they could be a little bit off
Mm-hmm.
and they probably still manage it. For us, we have to be spot on in everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
If not, we get punished.
Right.
The other day we weren't. When we look back, I spoke to a couple of the players about things that went on throughout the week. It's hard to say before the game. We had a couple of players that were like just late to meetings. Just even if it was 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late. There's a knock-on effect, and then you don't have a good game. So those things, little things that mount up to big things. And when we got to where was it to Panama, we sort of addressed all the small little issues and asked the players to just dig deep. And obviously you make changes and we get the result because after that meeting everybody was spot on. And even from the coaching staff, like we went back to our everything, the meeting starting on time, everything good to get set the tempo. And those are things that you can take for granted. The whole lead up and to games.
Anybody in your position with the match coming up against Mexico, back-to-back matches coming up against Mexico, I know what one might say, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Do you fear the opportunity to face off against Mexico?
No, I don't. I really don't. It's exciting, yes, and you always think, they could have a really good night, and we could have an off day.
Right.
That's something that possibly can happen.
Right.
But I think I remember watching Mexico play against this one. This is a game that sticks out in my mind. Mexico against Germany in the last World Cup, and Mexico beat them.
Right.
Because Germany had all the ball, and Mexico just kept hitting them.
Right.
I'm gonna try to do that today.
Well, I watched them play USA, and they were very clinical. A well put together organization. Even their loss to Argentina last Tuesday night, They never gave up. They continued to do their game plan. Okay, they were down 4-0 before they knew it. I mean, it was first half, but they're a well-oiled machine. They run a lot. They knock the ball around a lot. They got ability in the air, on the ground. So I mean,
they are a very good team.
Yeah.
When you analyze their team and you say, "How are we going to stop them?" It is a little frightening.
keep
They're the
throwing,
best team in this region.
keep
without a
throwing
doubt.
softballs on the field where you have to stop the game.
Yeah. We're talking to the ball boys now. Bermuda's drawing or winning.
Yeah.
You take your
time. Yeah.
There you go. 25 days left for October 11th. Of course, that's another international break, which obviously helps us in that respect. I was just looking at the flyers, and they were saying that the game is October 11th at 10 p.m. Bermuda
10
time.
p.m. Yeah.
Is that like the first time a game started that late in Bermuda?
This is where we are.
Yeah.
What do you think it's because of?
Time zone.
Nope. Television.
Television
That's right.
dictates.
Yeah.
And we can. The only thing I'm asking for is that we're allowed to play in our pink at home.
Right.
I didn't like the other day that we had to wear our blue.
Right.
And I think we were saying that they were going to wear white in both games, and we were going to wear the blue in both games, so it would have been okay.
Right.
But pink is our home color, so we need to address that properly and do what we need to do so we can wear our pink at home.
Right.
And, it's a psychological thing for the players as well, because I think they enjoy wearing the pink. That's our home colors. So it's a small thing, but it's a
Right.
big
It's a
thing.
big thing. No, I get it.
We need to use every little bit of psychological edge that we can use for ourselves to get over these humps, because realistically, we're playing teams now that are completely out of, I wouldn't say out of our depth, but basically have been world beaters for a number of years. And we're going to go through this for a little while because of where we are. We're A. If by chance we stay in A, there's going to be another year of these high demands. If we go to B, it's just another stepping stone of high demands, not as much as the A, but there are high demands on that as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing at the highest level possible
in our region.
Yeah. The only thing that's higher than this is the World Cup.
Yeah.
So we're playing against the best teams. That's what we ask. Can we do that? Can we hold our own against the best teams? And we're doing that.
Right.
I mean, we spoke to the players about that the Gold Cup sort of hangover, so to speak. Like, we only won one game in the Gold Cup. But what we did was perform well.
Right.
And we still didn't win.
Right.
So that's where I say we need to perform even better.
Right.
In order to win.
Yeah.
And on a more consistent basis. And I say to the players, we have to be consistent in everything that we do. People are watching to see us not do well.
Right. Right.
I'm not talking about the Bermuda public.
Right.
I'm talking about people around the world.
Yeah.
There's other countries that don't want us to do well.
Right.
So, they're like, this Bermuda team, they're down it again.
Right.
It's like, let's keep upsetting the odds. We can do that.
Right.
There's no reason why, because we have to go on the field and battle just like them.
Right. And the game starts when the referee blows the business 0-0.
And I'm going to keep saying it. If a team is not prepared to play against us, I don't care how big they are, they come half-stepping, they'll get in for another. If what on the day, they'll get in for another.
Right.
It's just a matter of being on that day. I mean, I didn't think we played bad that day, but we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So with time of essence, 25 days left until October 11th. Any injuries to report? Any updates?
No injuries as of right now. Trey was a little bit of a injury concern, but he played yesterday for PHC. We just hope that the players stay healthy and fit. And the next transition for us is bringing other players in. That's something that we're deeply talking about. We have to make some players feel uncomfortable. that's part of the
That's part of
game.
the game.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Just
part
to
of the
keep
game.
just to keep them honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to keep them honest. We brought D-Trey Bowell in as a goalkeeper,
Mhm.
and unfortunate that Jaquil was injured, but
Right.
right after, I'll be fit. And,
That's
Yeah.
what you need.
but
That's good.
that's
That's what you want.
competition.
That's what you want.
And it makes I honestly I think D-Trey he is a real threat to Dale.
Mm.
A real threat.
Right.
He has the ability to play, and that's what we want.
Right.
We have to look at each each department, and I want a threat for my two center halves, and we need front players that want to put the ball in the back of the net. Other than the key, we need someone else.
You know, to step up.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So when are you guys going to get together before the 11th? When are you guys, as a team, get together?
7.
Well, the international window opens up on the 7th.
Okay.
So that's when we're allowed to physically touch the players.
Mm.
Like for international, we got away with it in Bermuda because we had the players there,
Right.
and we train on them honestly. There's nothing that you can do. You can't stop that because it's not affecting their teams.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but when it comes down to, when you look at, say, England or anyone the big nations,
Mhm.
they don't get an opportunity to touch their players until that international window
Right.
opens up.
Mm.
They're just playing at a higher level, older players.
Okay.
So we just need to hit the ground running and be ready, be prepared. It's a lot of things that we've talked about that we want to make sure that we don't have them sort of silly mistakes from last time. But the game's about mistakes. You have to accept it,
Mhm.
and in order for a goal to be scored, there's got to be a mistake
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
yeah.
Any final comments before you wrap up?
No, I other than we just have to stick together. As a nation, be patient. We're not gonna have it all our way. We're playing against some big teams, and we have to keep believing in what we're doing. Like you said earlier, we have to keep believing in what we're trying to achieve. I think Mark Wade, as the president, he goes way above and beyond to try and give us everything that we need, the platform for us to work against. And there's other big teams in this region that probably are not getting the support that we are getting right now. You're talking about association wise, and we just need to keep growing. That's very
Together.
important. Yeah, together.
Together. Yeah.
It's a team effort. There's so many people that do things that don't get the credit.
Right.
That like team manager that was before Brandon Lee and
Right.
White, and now Sharice Bean, who's doing it until we get another team manager.
Right.
But they do a lot of work
Behind the scenes. Yeah.
that people don't know about. All the organizing for tickets, everything. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's a big effort.
Yeah. Credit to them.
And these people have full-time jobs, just like our coaches.
Yeah.
That's true. That's right.
I appreciate all the work that everyone does, even the people that volunteer, whatever they do. For can't forget them.
Yeah. All right, sir. I know you got a busy schedule, so I'm not going to hold you up, but I'm sure we'll have you back on before October 11th again. Just give us a final update on how things are going. We wish you all the best.
No problem.
10 o'clock at night. TV rights. I like that. ESPN Tuesday, I think, Saturday.
I think it's Fox.
Fox? Oh.
That's who had done a game the other day. So.
That's cool. Fox got it done. It's like one. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem, sir. And good luck to your Arsenal team. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Cool.
We need a little help.
Okay. Maybe need some Bermuda players in the team. After October 11th. All right. We'll take a commercial break and we'll be back after this.
Talk Radio, Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Bayston.
And welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio now is the president of the Bermuda Netball Association, Mr. Canal Evans. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
All is well?
All is well.
You're always going non-stop, huh?
Well, I guess it's just a part of the territory. Yes, at this point, that's what it feels like.
Where should you get this energy from?
I'll let her say it.
Okay, you sent some information over to Earl and I regarding the winter season to be getting underway next month. On the corner. Registration deadline is October 9th. How are things looking like there thus far?
Well, we're live and online as promised. We are using a site that is called signupforms.com, and it's attached to our Facebook page and our social media for all teams to go online and to register for all events that are taking place. So it's very user-friendly, self-explanatory, and if anyone actually needs assistance with utilizing it, they can feel free to reach out and contact us via our email page at ednetball@hotmail.com, and we'll be happy to assist them.
This is the first time you're doing everything online, if I'm correct.
It is.
Right. So is it the transition been much easier that way for an administrative side?
Well, it's easier definitely for the administrative side. I feel that people, they kind of resist change a bit, especially when they're used to doing things in a certain way. But for us, we definitely have to ensure that we're moving with the times and keeping up with the times. And it also helps us to keep a better track record. People can't use the excuse that sent the email and, it didn't get there or different things like that. I mean, anything can happen.
That's true. One thing that we didn't touch on, and you sent again information regarding this particular segment of netball, is umpiring. You're looking for umpires to be certified for the C badge,
Yes.
and you're opening up a session on September 28th, and you can be certified for the 29th. It's only $45.
Yes.
Male or female can be an umpire?
Anyone that wishes to attend. We encourage all that, when we become updated with the rules, anyone that wants to be able to familiarize themselves. So it's open to physical education teachers. It's open to any coach of any sport. Our national program players will also be strongly advised to participate in this course. And it's our firm belief that players that have a better understanding of the rules and regulations can only enhance them. So it's very important that they're up to date with the knowledge of what is taking place in the rules of the game.
The schedule says here 28th, which is the following Saturday. Is there a deadline for people to be in, or just come in on that day from 4 to 6 to register and be a part of this event?
Well, we want to keep it as open as possible. The instructor is open to all, and we should have utilize Cedar Bridge so it can accommodate a fairly large amount of persons. So the theory side of it will happen on the 28th with the testing done on the Sunday. And so, and then the instructor will come back and do the practical and we'll set dates for persons that want to.
I was just going to ask. I see it's a total of 4 hours for the 2 events. Is that enough time if you have, say, over 50 people?
I think it is. I mean, bearing in mind that majority of the persons that will come out, and if you offer this again, will be familiar with the basic rules.
Right.
The basic rules of netball have not changed. There are only more, so when it comes to tournament scheduling, when it comes to those types of things, that the rules have been updated and amended. There aren't any major rule changes. However, for us, we have always on a Saturday, everybody that knows the rules sitting from the sideline.
Yes.
So, we
were talking about that with another
definitely, we definitely encourage those persons to come out and basically, learn the rules.
How long is the netball game?
It's an hour for the seniors.
60-minute coaches.
60-minute coaches.
Yeah. In the stands.
And she's asking for them to come out.
Yeah.
Come
But
out.
will they come? or criticize. Yes.
But
Well,
you
I'll
have
tell
some,
you.
you have some, you
Okay,
have
do
some
come.
that
I'll be
will
optimistic.
take up the challenge
Right.
because it's a direct challenge to them. And then again, when you start saying that some rules have changed where you need to update yourself on the new rules so you don't embarrass yourself. And that's what I tell a lot of people. You're shouting out and that rule has been changed for a number of years. You
And they're
know,
like,
tear
oh,
juice up.
Yes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're going to criticize, if you know the rules, then you can give some constructive criticism. But if you don't know the rules,
Yes.
you really don't sound sharp on the sideline shouting out something that was changed 17 years ago. But because you haven't been around the sport for that long and you come back
Exactly.
and all of a sudden it's, you know, I mean, I've been to a couple of football games and
Yes.
some older people are talking about, oh, you can't touch the ball inside the penalty area from a goal kick.
They changed the shirt. That's right.
That changed when you go out.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, so okay, don't shout it out if you're not sure about it,
Yeah.
or ask someone first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing that you guys are going to be putting on this because it helps, like you say, it helps those who need that refresher,
Yes.
need that update, and need to understand the rules a little better
Yes.
to help develop the youngsters into, you know, more committed players
Yes.
by knowing what the rules are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I always state is that knowledge is power,
Mm.
and I feel as associations we probably have to do a better job at making sure we get those updated rules out, whether it be on our social media pages or whatever the case may be. We should readily make them available, not just in a case whereas it's available to, say, the clubs or it's available to the coaches that are coaching at the specific clubs. I think just for the general public, you can say, listen, you can verify this. You can go to our Facebook page. You can go and basically find these updated rules that you can have a read of. I mean, the internet has a vast amount. I mean, I don't think there's anything that you cannot find on the
Right.
internet. It's just encouraging and sometimes prompting, our people to go and have a look at it.
Mm.
Good point.
I know we were talking just earlier in the summer about how the game has changed, and you got the World Cup's coming up. Boy, has it been already?
Well, it's
Just great.
just took it.
And obviously the Fast Five took off around the world.
Yes.
How you don't want to take away from the development side of it. You want to add a few, I guess, fun tournaments in there.
Yes.
That Fast Five was well received, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, for netball, it has a lot of the rule changes in particular have been in order for it to evolve,
Right.
in order for the game to become quicker, in order for it to have the capabilities of being televised without constantly stopping and
Right.
the style of play because everything is for TV purposes and TV rights and nobody wants something that is not moving fast
Right.
and that's not engaging an audience. So a lot of the amendments that have been made has been because of that.
It's funny how sports has changed. Let's take back 25 years ago. People would sit down and watch use baseball, as they call it, America's past favorite time. Now they're trying to speed the game up
Right.
because of TV and because of the attraction from a sponsor say it's not fast enough.
Right.
You're not getting the message
Exactly.
out there.
Yeah.
It's too long. So it's happening across the board, all sports.
Yes.
It has to do with the time.
Yeah.
21st century.
Yeah.
Millennium.
Well, it also helps the sport as well because if there are ways to speed it up and they are able to publicize it on television,
Yes.
it actually attracts more people to the sport.
It does.
Right.
So you have to be open to those ideas and suggestions without taking away too much from the sport itself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because basic rules were put in place for certain sports because those rules actually help manage the game.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time trying to critique those rules.
Yes.
You end up actually breaking all the rules that actually govern your sport just for the sake of saying, okay, we're on television and it's all helter-skelter. It's all over the place. So you lose people, per se. You say registration's open.
Yeah.
How's your team? You guys registered enough players yet, or you're still just in the opening phases of getting the players back? Because I know you have a very strong group of young ladies. I know some have have gone away to school or will
Yes.
be going away to school?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just so that we're clear, are you speaking to me from the president?
No, from the club. I said the club. Club. Come on, come on, come on.
Well, we've definitely kicked off our training sessions and have had an excellent turnout. We had several young ladies, more particularly that played in the senior level that have gone off to university. And we applaud that. We want everyone to go off to school.
Right.
We stated before, two of our girls are overseas on school scholarships for basketball.
Mhm.
We also have some of our players that are over there playing field hockey.
Feel that? Yeah.
I mean, they're a phenomenal bunch of young ladies, and they do well both academically and athletically. So we think that it's great for the sport. They do love netball, so it's our hope that once they finish, they can come back and continue to give back and play the sport.
Mhm. Primary school, ages 4 to 11. That gets underway on the 21st, which is this coming Saturday.
That's correct. That's Netball Fever, and we're
Right.
so excited because it's a staple event for us. We have Netball Fever that takes place prior to the start of the league, engaging primary school students in order for them to, just get a love for the game. We have lowered the age. You see, it's 4 years old, because that actually leads into what we've talked about, which is our PE netball that will be kicking off. So we want to engage them at a younger age and get them just loving the sport, loving the fact that it can offer so many things. It can offer sportsmanship, it can offer help with those fine motor skills. All of those things netball is really great for and assists with those.
This program's for 4 weeks.
This netball
Yeah,
fever
for
is
netball
it's
fever.
for
Yeah,
4 weeks.
right,
That's
right.
correct.
Now, what are you expecting from this? From the ages 4 to 11? Yes, we know what program, what it offers, things like that. But for the young girls to really get engaged in this and you want to take it to the next level, that's really the focus that you want to take it on.
It is.
Right.
It's a platform for us to showcase our club coaches and what they actually have and can bring to the table. It also encompasses with our national players that are part of it, and we also have some PE teachers or physical education teachers within the schools that can come out that can actually observe. So it serves as a multi-purpose event. It's basically structured where the players are receiving coaching as well as those that are in instructional um, roles within the schools or within. They can also come by and see. We freely give out the handout of drills. We're also in the process of formulating a drills book that we will provide free of charge, available, which is just like some beginner's drills to all the schools around the island, just to help them out a little bit. We understand that they have a lot on their plates.
Is
And
it also
within
an
the
opportunity
PDCM,
for the clubs to kind of open up that shop window for some of these
always,
youngsters?
always. I think that the Bermuda Netball Association definitely does our part in trying to engage players. While we want to encourage clubs, to get their feet out there and walk the streets and encourage players to come in. I think that we would do our fair share of engaging players and allowing for the opportunity for coaches at other clubs, at all the clubs that are affiliated with us, the opportunity to see potential players.
And finally here, excuse me, we got Pee Wee Netball, ages 4 to 7 years old. That gets them November 2nd, but the registration deadlines are some time away.
Yes.
About 6 weeks, 7 weeks, October 26th.
Yes.
That program's from 11 to 12. Is this the youngest you've ever put
It
on?
is so exciting for us. I mean, we're in the process of getting our pills cut even smaller for these little
Like,
ladies.
make it now.
It's a chance. It's a chance.
I can dunk.
You know I can do it.
But I
Got a
mean, it's
chance.
exciting.
It's a move.
I mean, there has been a ton of work that's been going on behind the scenes, and there are a lot of things that have been talked about. But to actually see them come into fruition is exciting for me, and it's exciting for the Bermuda Netball Association council members that are, heavily engaged in making sure that we're putting ourselves out there, that we're doing our best to market ourselves. So I mean, for us, we recognize that most areas persons are engaged very early. Gymnastics, you have tumble tops. You have PV football, and the Bermuda Football Association has their own league that takes place in January. So we feel that the younger that we can engage them, then that encourages them to actually see what we have to offer and make decisions as to what they would like to do and things of that nature. So we are extremely excited about that one for sure.
Cool. Oh, we have a chance.
I can dunk.
We have a chance.
I'm coming.
They may beat us, but we have a chance.
No. Once I get you leave, I'm taking the ball and running.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Wow, you've got a slew of things that will be happening in the next 6 weeks of your program, and as we've done this over the last year and a half or so, we've seen like implementations of new things that you put together with your administration team as you trying to gather your sport and take it to the next level. And it's obviously happening.
Yeah.
So the future bodes well going forward for Network.
Yes, it does.
Any final comments before we wrap up, man?
I just always like to shout out to our council members. Like I said, this one is probably the best yet. It's extremely inclusive bunch of young ladies that seem to have similar visions, that have numerous amounts of assets and backgrounds that can help to contribute towards us taking this vision forward. So kudos to our council members. And I just want to say a big thank you to the coaches that continue to push on with these young ladies within their clubs. I just want everyone to be encouraged and understand that it's a process. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. But if we stick
Yep.
together, we can definitely get
It's a
there.
development process going forward.
Yes, it is.
You better understand that. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're more than welcome to bring some of your committee members in and join us.
And that's even more exciting because they said they're coming.
There you go.
I'm holding them too.
You're holding too. All right. We're going to take a news break at 1 o'clock. When we come back after the weather, we have August Insurance joining us and some health and fitness. We'll be back after the news.
and co-host Earl Waston.
Welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Welcome back. Just before we get our lines hooked up here, we've got a call on the line. But I was just reflecting on the Bermuda team. About 25 days before they get ready against Mexico. That's a big, tall order. But I think Kyle is taking the right approach. He's looked at the tactics. He's made amendments from the first game, and now he's like, you know what? We're ready to make it for as we prepare for Mexico.
Yeah, like you said, it's a tall order. It's going to be a very challenging night of football. As you indicated, the game does start at 10 o'clock, which kind of adjusts a lot of other things for a lot of people. Players, staff of the stadium. It's just going to be something new for a lot of people.
Right.
That the actual day is actually going to be a lot longer.
Right.
But it is what it is, and we just have to deal with it and go with it and see how we come out on the other side. I mean, it's going to be a good challenge to see where the players are at. The good thing is that we play them here on the 11th.
Right.
They turn around and they play Panama at home 5 days later or 4 days later.
Yeah.
And then 3 or 4 days before we play them in Mexico, they play Panama in Panama. So going into that final game, we will know mathematically where we stand as far as staying in Group A.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's the first two teams that advance.
The first two teams stay in that group, and the third place team goes down to the B division.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with this, we're just going to switch hats. With us now on the phone, it's the Argus representatives. As you know, it's about health and fitness. It's a want to live longer and healthier. And we have Shakira Warner, the population health specialist, on the phone with us. Good afternoon to you, ma'am, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm feeling great. I was telling my colleague Earl Basin earlier today that I'm back on training now and out running and feeling good. And he told me last week, he said, you look a little tired. I said, yeah, I started to run again. Running can do that to you. But trying to keep up with you. You know how you people at August stay in good shape, so I got to keep it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they say that the first day back is always the toughest, but remember, it's starting is the hardest thing, and just got to keep going, stay motivated.
Cool. And you're absolutely correct. Now, today's topic is about cleanliness. International Clean Hands Week, September 16th to the 20th. I've never heard of that term before. Explain to us what this is all about. I mean cleanliness, yes, and washing hands, yes, but the term International Clean Hands Week, explain that to us.
Yeah, so International Clean Hands Week is a international public health observance led by the World Health Organization, and it really just brings to light issues surrounding, cleanliness, hygiene, and the importance of hand washing in keeping us healthy. And as I came online, I heard you and Earl talking about the Bermuda football team and kind of everything that's going on with them, with upcoming travel, etc. And at this time of the year, as people are traveling, maybe returning from holiday, planning fall trips, it's even more important for us to be cognizant of keeping our hands clean because we know we're coming into cold and flu season, and also kids are going back to school. So we know this time of the year we start to see people coming down with those colds and other illnesses. So we know that touch is an important and natural part of how we interact with people and the world around us. So, when we greet our friends and family, we give them a hug, or if we see our mates, we give them a high five. So really, touch is important and natural, but we have to realize that through touch, we can expose ourselves to germs and bacteria that can make us sick. And this is particularly important for people who are more susceptible to getting ill, so that would be children as well as seniors. So proper hand washing is a way to eliminate the transmission of such germs and bacteria to ourselves and others. And this is especially important, as I mentioned before. People are returning from travel. We know that kids are probably not the most hygienic, and they're back in school playing with communal toys and computers and things like that. So we really do have to make a point to keep our hands clean.
My question for you, since you mentioned it, Brian, and it's very important, when to wash your hands, because it seems as though we just do it just before we eat. That'd be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Or if we just came home from work and we're home, and I do it every day, I wash my hands as soon as I get into the house. But should it be more often?
Yeah, so first, you made a really good point. When we're preparing or getting ready to eat food, so we can also transmit what we call foodborne illness. So if we're dealing with raw meat has salmonella. So if you transfer that around without washing your hands to other foods, then it can create the bacteria can get on the food, and then it can create illness. So it can make you really sick. So that's why it's very important to wash your hands before, during, and after, particularly if you're touching raw meat. We all know that, personal care. After you use the bathroom, or if you're helping someone to use the bathroom, wash your hands before and after. Also, if you are dealing with your eyes, so if you're changing your contact lenses or giving yourself eye drops, make sure that you wash your hands, because even though they may not, seem dirty to the eye, there may be like dust particles or bacteria that can get in your eye and that can cause irritation. If you're ill, you might need to sneeze or blow your nose or cough. Make sure that you wash your hands after that. Also, before and after sexual activity. And also before and after you administer first aid. So these are some things that people don't. I mean, washing hands after you use the bathroom. We're told that when we're very small, but you also need to be cognizant of, how clean your hands are when you're doing other things.
That's a good point. What about hand sanitizers?
Yeah, so hand sanitizers they can come in either gels or wipes that we're familiar with, so like the little Purell containers. It's actually really good for when you're traveling or on the go when you don't have ready access to running water and soap. But with that being said, it shouldn't replace regular proper hand washing. So, if you're, out and about, it's great to have, to carry some hand sanitizer with you. But again, it's not always good to use hand sanitizer as a replacement for hand washing.
That's a good point, and some people do think that's the way to do it, but yeah, you're right about that. Steps for washing your hands effectively, because people tend to run the water, and if they say, okay, well, just a little wash here, meaning water, just water itself, that really doesn't do it.
Yeah, I think we have all been in a bathroom and seen someone come out of a stall, wet their hands, shake, 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 and walk on about their business. That is not proper hand washing. So really the process should take 30 seconds to a minute of your time, which is really not a lot of time. So here are some of the steps. So step one, you want to turn on the faucet, rinse your hands under running water. A lot of people think, okay, well, the water has to be really cold or it has to be really hot. Well, really, it just has to be at a comfortable temperature for you. It doesn't, hand washing isn't more effective if the water is freezing cold or like super hot. So just keep it to a comfortable temperature that's pleasant for you. So you can apply soap. Next step is to apply soap. So it can be either a bar, a liquid form, or a foam. Really, any soap works. Sometimes you can get your hands on antibacterial. That's fine. But any soap will work. So once you have the soap on your hands, you want to rub your hands together to work up a lather, and that's for at least 30 seconds. And when you wash your hands, it's not just your palms. Make sure that you lather all parts of your hands, so your palms, the back of your hands, all the way up to your wrists, and between your fingers and under your nails. So a lot of people tend to miss the nail part, but remember that can be a little hotbed for bacteria and germs. So make sure that you kind of get under your nails a little bit. You can rinse your hands. So the last step is to rinse your hands and dry them thoroughly, preferably with a paper towel, particularly if you're using a communal or a public bathroom. And you can then use that piece of paper towel to turn off the faucet if the faucet's not automatic. In this day and age, most of the bathrooms that we use have automatic faucets, but if not, you can use the paper towel to turn off the faucet and keep that same paper towel to open the door on the way out.
Well, I have a question regarding the soaps that are used in some of these bathrooms. If people are allergic to perfume, washing their hands with that soap can actually be more of a detriment to them then. So what do you suggest?
So you bring up an excellent point. So some people may be allergic to the perfume of the soap. Other people can get a little bit of what we call contact dermatitis. So your skin becomes irritated and rough and scratchy and a little bit painful because of some of the perfumes or things that may be in the soap as detergents. So really the important thing is, especially in your household, because you don't really have a lot of control over what's used in like a public bathroom or, the soaps that are at work. But make sure that you get a mild soap, so one that doesn't have perfume, etc., something that doesn't give you that allergic reaction or action.
Interesting. Okay, good points. Stay on the line. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we just want to ask a couple more questions before we wrap up. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
We're on a mission.
It's a good point what Earl had brought up, and we just discussing. I said my question is going to be this: is in gyms, people when they work out, some use gloves, some don't use gloves. But the bottom line is they don't wash their hands,
Right.
with the gloves on or off.
Right.
And I've seen people come in, take the gloves off, and leave, but they don't wash their hands. That's not healthy.
No, and especially in a gym where people are sweating excessively. They're using, the equipment is communal, so you've got one person putting down weights or using a certain piece of equipment, and then the next person comes along. So that's why, and because when we sweat, we release bacteria and other things that one are it's unpleasant if it gets left there. It can smell a little bit, and two, it's a little bit unsanitary. So after you use gym equipment, generally gyms do provide a cleaning solution and some paper towels so that you can clean off your equipment before and after you get on it or use it. So I definitely advocate for cleaning the equipment. And if you leave a little puddle of sweat, spray some cleaning solution on that and just wipe up after yourself. Um, in gyms, they can actually be spaces where, bacteria and germs can get transferred and can make you sick. So, of course, that's not all the time because, the gyms that I've been to have been pretty good about cleaning, but definitely take ownership of the equipment that you use and make sure that you clean it before and after.
And that's a good point because everyone's been to numerous gyms, and some owners raise the bar, and it's like I'm gonna wipe this off right now because you pressed by on this, and this. And, I've seen my friend Dave Wolf go around and wipe off perspiration because he's got a circuit type training program, so he knows that the people that are training can't do it, but he comes right behind you and he wipes it off, and he stresses that, and he does it. So it's credit to him and credit for his gym because he hears a lot of people get allergic.
Right.
So yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Trainers should know, that's a part of their training that they should, clean up and keep a clean space. Sorry. And also, if you're, in a gym or a particular facility where you see things not really being cleaned up after, definitely raise that with the management team because it's important.
Definitely. Now, before we wrap up, you mentioned we're going into the winter season. It's important that we do wash our hands and things of that sort. One thing is that I think you did touch on, just to recap, this is where children or young children, even adults, don't take the opportunity to wash their hands because they think that they're going from point A to point B is fine. It's not as hot as in the summer, but it's just as important in the winter, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that um, just to, we do have, cold and flu season, but really you should be taking, hygienic hand cleaning, care throughout the year. And, particularly as you come upon cold and flu season. And I do want to call out a specific point and give a scenario. So For people with asthma in particular, a cold or flu can actually trigger an asthma attack or flare up. And that is why hand washing is, another reason why hand washing is particularly important for prevention. Because we're talking about an illness that can trigger, another effect that can actually be detrimental, particularly in children. And within that, Argus has actually partnered with Open Airways, the asthma charity here in Bermuda, to make available a free online asthma education course. So anyone can log on and take the course, which is about 45 minutes, and it's focused on supporting children's health, and these are mainly children with asthma. So we encourage individuals, particularly if you have a family member or work with children, to take the course, which is about 45 minutes, and it can be found at www.openairways.com. And it's really good. I've taken it myself, and there were, a couple of points of information that I learned. So quite a good course to take.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add that Earl and I did not ask?
um, Also, other things to keep your hands clean. Remember, the high traffic places. When you travel or using public transportation or handling money, even taking out trash. Or just when your hands just become visibly dirty, just wash your hands. Don't forget to clean under your nails. And remember that washing your hands effectively, it is a process where you wash the entire hand, the front and back, as well as under the nail. And of course, hand washing is so important to prevent the transmission of certain bacteria and germs that can make you sick.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind, and those points are very valid. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And do enjoy the rest of your week.
You as well.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
All right.
guys.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll take a commercial break and be back after this. Some fun right now is Mr. Sean Cervical. He's the tournament director of the championship. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Ian. How are you?
I am fine. All is good with me. Got my co-partner with me, Mr. Earl Bates. We didn't meet him last time, but he's joining us today on Inside Sports Talk Radio. He has a website, and he carries all the information on your website, Mr. Bates.
Islandstats.com.
Islandstats.com. So, Sean, we just wanted to give us an update how things are going with golfing with the upcoming tournament next month, and it's mostly regarding volunteers. Where we stand there.
Yeah, well, we're doing very well. We have a number in mind of about 600 volunteers to make the event happen this year. We're at about 400.
Jesus.
However, we do still need some help, particularly in some of the areas where, and these are categories in the state that usually fill up really quickly. So we're trying to make sure that we promote these. There's two positions in particular. One is what we call our marshals. It's really our gallery control. And these folks stand actually inside the rope line and are up close and personal with the players, have an opportunity to really be on the field, if you will, which is kind of cool. And the number of marshals that we still need about 100 marshals to make the event happen. This requires no training. I mean, it is really a simple job, a fun job. Again, the interaction with the players, the interaction with the fans makes it where it should be a very enjoyable week for those people who participate. The second one is walking the board, and I think this one too can be a little bit intimidating when you look at it because you are walking with the players. However, it's really just keeping their score, and the player and the caddy will tell you at the end of each hole exactly what to put in, and then that information is beamed to TV and Scoring Central. So you're on the field, you're part of the action. It's really a fun job, and a very important role for us. Simply because, obviously you have to keep the competition fair. But then again, this one requires very little training, and if you can count to 4, it's pretty easy. And it should be a heck of a fun week. So they have the opportunity to walk the golf course, be with a marquee group, and go around and enjoy themselves, really.
With that said, then how do we go about it? Because comedians, they're listening and they want to get in tune with it. Is there a website to sign up? Is there a contact number, things of that sort?
Oh, there are. So the easiest way is to go to our website, which is BermudaChampionship.com, and you'll hit a button that will get you to our volunteer sign-up page. But if there is any information that's required, Jordan Burns is our volunteer manager, and she will be happy to help out with any questions. Her email is on the website.
Okay. Interesting. Sorry,
Afternoon. One thing that I noticed, about Bermuda and Bermudian people when they like to get involved with any type of sport, what are some of the names of the players who have already qualified for this event? Because you're running simultaneous events in golf. Most players are on one side of the world, and then you have this tournament on this side. Are there some household names already qualified for this one?
Well, there certainly are some household names. I mean, just so that everybody understands, that's right. There are the top 50 players in the world will be playing in China. But that puts a lot of great players, guys like Zach Johnson and Ernie Els are names that we're defining for our field, but also many great up-and-coming players that are new to the tour. The guys, the Jordan Spieths and the Rory McIlroys of the future are coming up to play here as well. So everybody will be very pleasantly surprised, I think, when you see the names of the fields that develop. We're kind of in an interesting time right now because between the time when the tour ends, which was just a couple of weeks ago at the Tour Championship, and the first couple of weeks, that's when really our field comes into focus. So for me to be able to give you a big litany of names, I can't yet, because at the end of the next 2 weeks, we'll get a sense of where people fall in point-wise and who is qualified for China and who is qualified to play in Bermuda. And then starting really October timeframe, we're going to be able to blitz the marketplace with what the field looks like here. But rest assured, it's going to be a very good field. When only 50 players out of the world's best 200 can play in China, we know we're going to get good players. We also know that a lot of people like Ernie and Zach and some others have experience with Bermuda, loved it, and want to come back. So we've been actively talking with their agents and trying to get them involved as well. So not to dodge your question, we just truly don't have the names fully. That's what that looks like. to make one point. This is going to be a really cool deal in that we're going to hold a local qualifier, and we anticipate 4 local Bermudians playing the PGA Tour event. And the idea there, obviously, is to help these guys get a real feel of what it's like to compete against PGA Tour pros. And obviously, our fans will have the opportunity to come out and root for their hometown.
What was the biggest attraction for this event to come to Bermuda from the PGA standpoint?
I think it's just that. It's Bermuda. When they play these opposite field events, they like to host them on areas that their players are going to be able to come to a location, really see a beautiful place, enjoy the competition, but they can get their families away, right? They can get their groups kind of to enjoy in a less crazy setting from their week to week in the States. So these events where we go up against another field, we've been seeking places like Bermuda to have one. Now, a lot of these players have never been to Bermuda, and they don't really truly know what they're going to see yet. So we're in the education process. But I can tell you from the PGA's Tour standpoint, they came over here, they've seen it, they know what the golf course can do, they know what the community is all about. And when I had the opportunity to come in here and see it for myself and meet the people, I've just been blown away. The amount of assistance at all levels with the shortened period of time that we had to put this thing on has just been tremendous. But Bermuda, the backdrop, is the reason why they chose it. Tourism and economic impact and charity are the winners. And that's really what we got to put out there and let everybody know that this is what it's all about. This is not about making a lot of money for an organization that's running the event. That's not at all what it's about. It's about putting Bermuda in the limelight, making sure that the businesses of Bermuda are benefiting from us being here, and that the charities ultimately will be big winners in the end as well.
Port Royal offers many different challenges as far as our hills and slopes and so forth, outside the normal of what these guys will normally be in action for. Having this tournament so early in the season, does this set things up for a run right after leaving Bermuda?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, here's the thing. Last year, this early season has become more important than ever to players, and that's why I think the field will end up rounding itself up nicely. Matt Kuchar won twice last year in the fall, or at least late season. Early season. And because of that, he held the lead on the FedEx Cup points all the way till the end. And ultimately, these events are more important than ever, played between September and December because of that fact. And if a player can get out of the chutes, win a couple of times in the fall, or play very well in the fall, they can set themselves up to make a real run at the championship. And as you know, that championship is $15 million. Not a bad day's work.
Not at all. You mentioned earlier that, when Earl asked about Bermuda being selected and the response is like, because, a lot of players haven't heard about Bermuda, but once they found out Bermuda will be hosting this event for the next 4 to 5 years, what's the response from the players' perspective for them coming here for the first time?
Well, we're confident that they're going to carry this word back to people who didn't come. And across the tour, this will become one of their favorites because no matter what you do on this island, you're going to come across friendly people. No matter where you stay, you're going to come across beautiful opportunities to visit the beaches, see the sights. It's just got so much going for it. And you all live it every day, but for somebody who's come over here and basically, been in Bermuda for 5 months, it's amazing. The people make it. The scenery and the ability to do the things that you can't do in the United States, that's what makes it. So I have no doubt when they go back, they're going to really have enjoyed themselves. We have a pretty fun week planned for them. We have our opportunity to shine as an event for them as well. So, parties and nice meals, shopping experiences for the families. Those are all things that we're going to take advantage of. And I have no doubt that because of that, we're going to get more and more of the big names back in the future.
Bermuda is a well-known place for sports. We have people, all walks of life, that are very into sports. But can you give us a breakdown on, especially the first 2 days of a PGA tournament, how many players are on the course, what's the time frame? Because there's some people out there that may want to have a look-see, but just don't know what time they have the opportunity to see professional golf players.
Oh, that's a great question, and it's not like it doesn't have it's not as easy as a ball game, right? That might last 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's maybe more like Cup Match in that it's an all-day extravaganza.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, we wanted to make sure that it was very open for people to come join us. So we set our tickets at $20 to get into the event. And then the next thing we did was we set our junior age at 17. So kids 17 and under are admitted free with a ticketed adult. We wanted it to be affordable to everybody, and we wanted to open up the venue to the youth on Bermuda. Now, as we look at how the days go, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're not open to the public, but we do have practice rounds out there. We do have other events happening like our Pro-Am position. But when we open up the gates on Thursday, it's basically hours 7:30 to 5:30 each day, 7:30 to 4:30 because of the time change on Sunday. And there'll be golf going on during that whole time frame. Now you'll have to follow exactly where the players are because at 7:30 in the morning they'll be going off the front side and the back side on Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. You'll be able to find them on the earlier holes, right? But it's very easy to once you get out there figure out where they are because we have these 11 magnificent leaderboards that show you exactly where the player is on the golf course and what their score is, what time they're teeing off. So it makes it very easy to find and to figure out. But the hours of operation for us are 7:30, gates open at 7 o'clock, and basically till last putt, which is typically around 5:30, weather permitting.
Well, okay. Well, anything you'd like to add, Sean, that we did not ask?
Everything you guys are doing to support us. Just I'd ask anybody if they have any questions whatsoever, visit our website. It's a good site. I think it gives a lot of information about the event. It's BermudaChampionship.com. And Charles, I appreciate you.
Not a problem, Sean. Look, enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck to your Falcons. I see your team won yesterday.
You know what? You remembered that. That's good. Yes, they did. Julio Jones looking good, didn't he?
Yeah. Your record's 1-1, but my team's 2-0, so I'll leave it like that for now.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Not a problem, Sean. We'll have you on again. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers.
We'll take a commercial break and be back after this.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Bayston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. It's September. Just want to reflect on what's the biggest sporting. Well, there's a number of sports stories that broke out thus far for September. What has the year been like in your coverage of sports?
This has been, for Bermuda, a phenomenal year. We could start with so many things, but things that would stand out, obviously, Bermuda going to the Gold Cup. As Kyle said, we only won one game, but I think we showed that we can match these teams by our performances. Obviously, we lose to Panama 4-1 in Bermuda, but go to Panama and beat them there. You look at the cricket team doing something we haven't done for quite some while, and that's qualify for the next round of a World Cup in cricket. And we're going to Dubai in a matter of weeks to try to qualify for the 2020 World Cup, which will be held in Australia. It's top 16, 6 teams go through. It's always an opportunity to get going. If we get a good start, who knows, we may qualify for that as well. We had Jessica Lewis come back with 3 medals, 2 gold. We had Flora Duffy come back from injury to win a test event and qualify for the Olympics. There's so many different things on so many different fronts of sports in general that has put us in light of people recognizing that we do exist, and we do have an opportunity to, when we do go out, people say, hey, Bermuda, because of what we've been able to accomplish with our athletes. And a lot has been over the years of a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. And, at the end of the day, the country gets rewarded for somebody doing really, really well.
I credit all the coaches in the various sports in Bermuda, from cycling to swimming to Jessica Lewis's situation, to track and field, to football, you name it. None of that some sports out there, sailing. Because for amateurs, we're rising to the occasion. And, the coaches, along with the athletes, there's a part-time thing because they got full-time jobs or in school, overseas or locally. And you look at it, you reflect on this year, you're like, wow, we climbed the bar. Outspoken, it's like, wow, it's amazing.
It's one of those things where I think a lot of people, you have to stop and take a look at when Bermudians do compete, especially in international competition. At times, you have to stop and look at the people they're competing against. If we look at the 2016 Olympics in the sport of sailing, there were a number of guys who were sailing against our Bermudian people in various different classes that were competing in the America's Cup the following year. You know what I mean? They're doing that full time, and we have athletes who are in school, and but we have to look at those type of things. We have, Tyrone Smith finished 5th in long jump at the Pan Am Games, but he has a full time job now. He's going back to school. So we have people that are doing their craft, full time,
as amateurs,
and
competing against the professionals.
But we have to keep giving ourselves that opportunity by encouraging everyone who's willing to take that step, because it's a courageous step to be out there. I'm pretty sure when Tyler and Flora left Bermuda, there were doubts, there were fears, but you have to overcome those things with the support of their families, with support of Bermuda, of just words of encouragement, those type of things. I've been seeing it earlier with our football and our cricketers. If they feel good about themselves, we can get the best out of them. But we have to make sure they feel good about themselves.
And it's important.
And it's vital. It's vital.
In order for them to feel good about themselves, it's the programs that they've come under. The development programs, again, from the coaching staff, the amateur ones, and the various sports that put in the time.
All buy-in.
If you think about it, man, you're up morning sometimes, 5 o'clock. You hear those guys riding by your house, your neighborhood, or you're on the road and you see these people running and stuff.
It's dedication.
And then they go work 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
8:30, and then they're back on in the afternoon, maybe midday or
Listen,
evening
I had a
time.
conversation with the national cricket coach, and these guys were on a program. Yesterday they were at Jones Smith Bay at 6 o'clock in the morning. Everyone there on time doing beach work.
Again today.
Hey, but it's buy-in, it's commitment. Everybody's pushing one another, and everybody's encouraging one another. And that, I mean, if you go back to some of the comments that were made when Bermuda qualified for the World Cup, and that team started training at the National Stadium, and I remember there were times where there was a lot of talk that the board don't have the money to pay for the stadium. But through arguments and discussions, the team got together. Guys got together. They were picking up one another, taking them to training, and encouraging one another. And they all brought into a system and brought into what they wanted to achieve as a group, and it worked out. Yeah, and you could see it happening more and more. Know that it's more out there. It's more technology. It's more. And these guys are feeling like they're part of a world of their sport because you're able to touch it
and be a part.
Yeah.
Well, let's take our last commercial break for the day, and then we'll wrap up. I'm back on Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Bayston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Just switching up real quick before we sign off. I was just looking at the NFL here. There's Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Just let you know, breaking news: Big Ben out for the year. Quarterback Big Ben out for the year.
Week 2. Done.
It's like 36, 37.
Yeah, time to retire.
Yeah. He's packing it. Well, we'll see what Pittsburgh does this weekend. They play against my 49ers in San Francisco.
It's going to be interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, the good thing is it's this early in the season, so the backup quarterbacks have had reps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would have played a lot of the preseason games as well. Ben would have played a couple of series, and then so they're still fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if the longer you get into the season, the less reps they get.
Exactly. Because they always give you number one.
Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely correct.
for them, it might work out. It might work.
It might. But just don't win it this Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Mm.
I like the 49ers. I ain't done nothing since 2012. They went to the Super Bowl and lost. But it's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Any final stories for you? You going to wrap up for this evening on television?
It was a long weekend, man. It's a long weekend. Let's put it like that.
A lot of stories there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, Ambassador, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you as well, guys.
Cool.
All right.
That's all for Inside Sports Talk Radio. We'll be back next week Monday. Ciao for now.